Hi everybody. So continuing the deburring process using my new friend, the drill. It's hard to tell because this thing is sped up so fast, but what I actually wind up doing is it's just pull, release, pull, release, pull, release, like you're firing a gun. And it takes a little bit of practice. For these thicker pieces, you don't have to be quite as exact. What I did to make sure that it was working is I painted a little white line on the spindle, or the chuck, I should say, drill chuck, that I can see rotating around. That way I can kind of measure how many times it goes around before I stop it. Of course, it's really hard to stop it when you just pull it full force. What happens instead is you wind up just using that as a test vehicle for testing and practice, and it takes about 3 minutes and you finally get used to being able to dial in exactly how much deburring you want. Of course, nothing really does replace the files, so now I've got 8 ribs to deburr. At this point, I've stopped deburring the right. I've just completely stopped working on the right aileron. Damn, it's not the aileron, the right flap. I've stopped working on the right flap, and I'm only doing the left. All the pieces for the right are back there. They're all ready to go. The next step would actually just be the mock-up, like we saw a few videos back. And then, of course, everything that you'll see from here out. So the main ribs, you do, like I'd mentioned like I'd shown you in one of the previous videos, you have to cut a tab out of the back of the main ribs. That's so that you can actually access the very back rivet of one side. It was never meant to be there. That piece of metal was never meant to be there, but it had to be there whenever they were bending the piece, or it wouldn't have been bent. It's kind of a serrated end at the back. It's hard to describe. I'd put an overlay on here, but I don't have the plans in front of me. But basically, because of the way the metal is shaped, it doesn't have a lot of metal when they were bending the flanges to make a very crisp and clean bend, so you wind up having to need some pliers to kind of finalize the bend. And they suggest using duckbill, which I love duckbill pliers. The only thing is I added a lot of painter's tape on top of it as to not mar the metal itself. My club mechanic brought his puppy to the hangar, and I didn't want the puppy walking through shards of aluminum, so I was just doing a little quick little cleanup there. Alright, so I'm doing prep, which means I'll probably, so this is the pre-priming prep. I'm just going to be cleaning, and then I wind up scuffing and then priming. The scuffing and priming I wind up doing off camera, only because I do it outside where I don't get the dust everywhere. And by the power of magic, there's everything primed. I don't mind aluminum shards. Those I can sweep. Aluminum dust, pain in the ass. I do that outside. And once again, the handy squeezer comes through and we do all of the dimpling. One note about that squeezer I've noticed, which I love, so the adjustable ram, right? I've spoken to this thing before. This thing is great. I love the adjustable ram. It would kill me if I had to use shims. But the one thing about that adjustable RAM is because it is adjustable, and with the amount of force that you're using here, it does have a tendency to back down. So one must be careful when using it. It's got slats on the side, so you can see the position of it. But especially when you're dimpling like every 50 dimples or so, I'll just stop and make sure that it's readjusted. Anyway, just going to keep dimpling here, and I believe the construction starts in the next video, so I will see you soon.